Hey backpackers, this is Juan from Juan Backpacks, and I'm here today to give you a full review of the Tusher rain jacket from Outdoor Vitals. I'm going to go through some of the key features as it relates to the performance of this garment in the field. If you want to know the details, like the nitty-gritty details that I'm not going to talk about here, you can go to the Outdoor Vitals website and read all the detail of this jacket till your heart's content and all the specs. So let's dive into the review. First off, the hood. The hood shape is excellent. It keeps rain out. It stays on your hood even when the wind blows because of the shape of the hood and because of this elastic. Even when you don't zip up the front, the hood stays in place. And I found that to be extremely useful in the rain when the wind was blowing because, number one, when I'm hiking up a hill, a lot of times I want to regulate my heat with just the front zipper. But in a lot of rain jackets, when the wind blows, and you're doing that, the hood flips off. This one stays on whether you have a hat on or not. When I really get a lot of wind and a lot of blowing rain, I can really lock it down tight and get a tight seal here around my face and so forth. So that's another thing that really came in handy. When I was out on the Black Forest Trail this past weekend, we did about 8,000 feet of elevation gain and 43 miles of that trail. It rained, it snowed, it sleeted, and I never got wet using this jacket. So the zipper in the front is waterproof, obviously keeping water out. There's a waterproof pocket. I found this to be extremely useful to put my phone in here. I could access my phone really quick, take it out, take some video, throw it back in there, and making sure that it's dry. You could also probably store paper maps in this pocket or other small items that you don't want to get wet. You just throw them in this pocket. The jacket is seam sealed, and if I open it up, you can see some of the seam sealing here. And that again contributes to the fact that it would be extremely difficult for this jacket to wet out. The fit of the jacket I found was nice and roomy in the shoulders. It was a little bit tighter here through the midsection, so you may have to watch your sizing on this depending on how your body shape is. I've got a medium on right now, and I have more of an athletic kind of body. And so that works for me. I'm also able to fit my Ventus hoodie, medium Ventus hoodie underneath this as well. And I purposely sized my jacket so I could do that because I think these two garments working together is excellent. I'm going to probably dive into that a little bit. So moving to the pit zips, probably the key feature of this jacket that I'm going to circle back to in a second. The other thing I liked about the jacket was the closures here. I had concerns about not having actual closures on the sleeves because sometimes that means rain can get in here. These are tight enough and close enough to the wrist, but not uncomfortable that it keeps the rain out. So even when I was hiking with my trekking poles and it was raining, I was not getting any water down in my sleeves whatsoever. Now, flipping to the pit zips. I think that's a key feature of this jacket. And that's the thing that honestly blew me away. I've had a lot of high-end rain gear over my life in the outdoors, and I don't mind spending money on high-end breathable rain gear. This jacket is breathable, right? But that doesn't mean it's not going to sweat out. Wet out for me is when it comes from the outside in. I say sweat out meaning I've created sweat in here, created moisture inside here, and then eventually when I stop moving will make me cold, right? So the pit zips were instrumental in helping me regulate my heat while I was hiking in this jacket. We hiked sometimes 2,000 to 3,000 feet of elevation gain in a day, and that's pretty good on the East Coast in the Appalachian Mountains. And when I was doing that, I just threw the pit zips down on both sides and just kept hiking. I did not sweat out my gear on the inside at all during that hike when I was going up hills. And that really honestly surprised me. Again, I've owned a lot of nice high-end rain gear, and honestly when I'm out there hunting or hiking into a place to fly fish, I've always sweated enough to make my layers wet on the inside. And with this jacket, the pit zips really help me regulate the heat. So if you're out there with a jacket that doesn't have pit zips, get with the program and get yourself some pit zips. I'm telling you, it'll be awesome. So the pit zips are great. The other cool thing about the pit zips that I found is when I combine this with the Ventus hoodie or any other kind of underlayer. And again, I sized this to make sure I could get my medium Ventus hoodie underneath it. For me, medium and medium worked. What I would do when it was cold is I was going to hike in this when it was really cold out, right? And it got into the 30s some days when we were hiking, and low 40s was the highest it got. So I'm hiking in my Ventus, okay? And it does have some perforated armpits so it can release heat. When it got really windy and made me cold while I was hiking, I would throw on this jacket to be basically a windbreaker. The cool thing about it is I could throw down those pit zips when I had it over top of the Ventus, and it would still keep me from overheating. And that, again, was just so it was huge because, again, I'm so used to sweating and getting my inner layers a little bit damp when I'm working that hard and doing that much elevation gain in a day. I'm just used to that scenario happening no matter what I do. And the Ventus hoodie, or the Tusher rain jacket, allowed me to use these pit zips in conjunction with even a thicker mid layer and keep myself from starting to sweat and then, you know, basically sweating out my gear from the inside out. So for those reasons, quite honestly, I really enjoy this jacket. I also enjoy the fact that it's extremely light. It's lightweight. The large, according to their website, is 7.4 ounces. This is a medium, so I'm probably somewhere around 7 ounces or just under that for my jacket. And I think, you know, in the world of ultralight backpacking, that's in the sweet spot, especially a jacket that has really this many design features on it in this high of a performance. That's an excellent way to have that kind of performance. So that is my overall review, opinion of the Tusher rain jacket by Outdoor Vitals. I think it's an excellent piece of clothing. Highly recommend it. If you have experience with it, good, bad, or indifferent, post in the comments below. Love to hear your experience with the jacket, even if it's not the same as mine. But again, this is just my honest, factual kind of review, kind of, you know, going through what I've experienced with the garment, and yours may be different. So until next time, backpackers, get out there and do some backpacking. Stop watching YouTube, unless it's my videos, then watch them all from start to finish. Later, folks.